So my dream is to be a full-time artist and to be one of the greats, in short. To be in the history books for changing the way that we view art, for changing the way that we approach street art and the culture of it as a whole, and the way that the artist model needs to change. So my dream is to not only be a famous artist and to be one of the greats, but to change the process of becoming an artist for those thereafter from me. In terms of my artwork, I'd like to say that a lot of it comes from nostalgic roots. A lot of it comes from the best times in my life, at least, which is cartoons, Saturday afternoons, the 90s, early 2000s, and that kind of pop culture, that vision of nostalgia, that vision of playfulness, that satire, that comedic value that all just gives us a bit of a spark and a bit of a giggle. I'm Asuek. I'm a UK street artist or contemporary artist based around street art and pop art culture. I work in a variety of different mediums, but largely in spray paint and acrylic. I also work in some sculpture mediums, as you can see behind me, and I've also done some corporate design, such as my work with Fatboy Slim and Pet Coffee. Otherwise, my medium or my style or sort of my roots, everything, it all comes from graffiti and it all comes from street art and pop culture influences. And it's an embodiment or a feeling and a vibe in itself. I think it's something that has to be experienced and really looked at overall to get an embodying view of it. For me, my art is everything. It's a means to express the feelings that I can't communicate. It's, well, to put it politely, it's everything from the reason I get up in the morning, it's how I pay my bills, it's how I put food on the table for my family, it's how I communicate with the outside world, and it's how I see the world. I feel that art to me, or my art, is not just to me, but to everyone. Art is a food source. Art is something that we need as a staple for our growth. And to me, I feel that my art not only gives me an outlet to feed the world, but gives me an outlet to express those inner thoughts and expressions that I just can't vocalise in other ways. I want to leave a better version of this world and a prettier picture for the next generation. And my biggest fear is that the world goes to shit and that we're left in a more toxic environment than we have today. Let's be honest, we're not far from it. Every day it feels like man is more divided, that cultures are against each other, and that people are just vocalising hate more and more and more. And I want to break that pattern. I want to leave a smile, and I want people to, for lack of a better term, spread peace, love and rubber ducks, because why not? The world would be better if we smiled after all. To be an artist, at the baseline of what an artist is somebody who envisions creative ideas or envisions a different aspect or a different approach to things and then does them, executes them, brings creation to life, and doesn't just think about something or get an idea and then not follow through with it. But an artist is someone that really captures that idea and then sees it through to the end and creates a beautiful picture or creates a sculpture or creates a piece of drama or a photography piece or whatever their creative industry may be. But it's just to see it through to the end, to create that idea and to make it visible for people. And I feel that the only way you can really fade as an artist is if you give up on yourself, if you stop creating. Like Van Gogh is a perfect example, and it's one I like to use regularly. But in his life, he only ever sold 2 paintings. He couldn't give them away. And let that sit for a moment. One of the greatest artists that ever lived couldn't give his paintings away. Nobody wanted them. But yet today, he's one of the greatest living artists that ever lived. Now that only comes from never giving up. Even when everyone else told him he was worthless, he kept creating. He kept going on and on and on. Because for him, it was more than what the world saw in himself. It was how he saw the world and what he needed to give. And I feel that if you can continue to do that, you won't ever fail. But a failed artist is someone who just stops. AI is great if used by an artist and used in the right ways and used to advance our understanding and our already pre-existing abilities. But if it's used instead of, then that's when it becomes a negative, sadly. It's a double-edged sword. For a lot of uncreative people, they're using it to replace artists, which isn't the right way. We need to use it as the tool it was intended for. Like, you would never say to a carpenter, well, don't use a circular saw or a jigsaw. Go back to using hand-cut tools 50 years ago. But in the same way, you would never disregard the carpenter's experience or knowledge. You wouldn't say, well, I've got myself a jigsaw, I'm now a carpenter. Never let anything stop you. If you've got nothing but chalk or a bit of charcoal from a fire, you can create. You can create with rubbish. There's a gentleman in the Tate that creates sculptures using light and rubbish. Literally creates masterpieces using stuff from landfill. He doesn't have any money. He has a lamp and a pile of rubbish from a bin. If he can do it, so can you. Like I promise, back in the olden days, they even created their own pigments out of onion skins and various stones and materials. There's nothing to prevent you from creating other than your own imagination. So get out, use it. Just, if you come across an obstacle, it doesn't mean stop. It just means you need to think of the solution. But you've got it inside you. I like to quote Alice in Wonderland, and they say, think of seven impossible things before breakfast, because nothing is impossible. It's only improbable until you think of the solution. But that's completely on you, and you can do it. We all can.